Madame la Présidente, on va rentrer tout de suite dans le vif du sujet. Et je vais vous dire qu'après un ordre mondial sous domination américaine, depuis 1945, devenu caduc aujourd'hui, est-ce que vous ressentez une influence croissante et provocatrice de la Russie dans tout le Caucase, surtout après la résurgence du conflit au Nagorno-Karabakh entre les Azéris et les Arméniens, conflit dans lequel Vladimir Poutine a voulu montrer qu'il était le patron?
Well, it's not something new. Russia is present in the Caucasus, is present in our occupied territories for so many years, has been intensifying its presence in the occupied territories, has been intensifying the provocations in the occupied territories on the administrative line. There are hostage-taking, borderization, everything that one can think of to make the situation more tense. And the number of Russian soldiers in the occupied territories is impressive, as well as a military bases. More impressive is the number of Russian military on the other side of the Russian border itself, in the Caucasus side, North Caucasus side, where the military base is being reinforced. So what happens in the Nagorno-Karabakh does not change radically the situation. It's an addition to an already tense situation, to an already heavy military presence, and a provocative stance, I would say, towards the stability of the region. But the better news, I would say, is that we have managed, despite that, for what concerns Georgia, to continue our European path, our European integration path. And in fact, today, the Prime Minister is in Brussels, meeting with NATO, meeting with the Association Council. The war itself on Nagorno-Karabakh between our two neighbors has at least has been prevented for destabilizing, I would say, the region as a whole. I hope that we will move to something different in the very short future, which is to have a more direct involvement of the European Union. European Union, which through the Minsk group should have been much more present in this conflict. I think the issue is really an issue of foreign policy for the European Union that cannot let Russia be the one power in the region.
L'Iran est l'un de vos voisins. Quel rôle lui voyez-vous jouer dans le Caucase et même au Moyen-Orient, bien entendu, qui est devenu, vous le savez, une véritable poudrière?
Well, in fact, Iran is not that present in the Caucasus. It has been more present at different periods of history. Today, it's not present. It's trying to keep pace, I would say. And that's the reason why we had a visit of the foreign minister in the three republics. That was 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. And I think that it was more reactive than proactive. Iran, having heard and seen the activity of Azerbaijan together with Turkey, the activity of Russia, was a bit in a situation of don't forget about us, we are also close to that region and also interested in the infrastructural projects that can develop in the region. So that's today, that is a position of Iran, an outsider that is trying to get more active in the region. But again, in this region, I think it's not a region that can, in the future, be exclusive of anyone, but it has to be inclusive of our main partners. And our main partners are the European Union and the United States.
Madame la Présidente, est-ce que la Géorgie est toujours traumatisée par sa guerre avec la Russie en 2008, dans laquelle vous avez perdu 2 régions pro-russes, l'Abkhazie et l'Ossétie, qui représentait, il faut le rappeler, 20% du territoire géorgien.
I would not qualify these regions as pro-Russian. These regions are regions that are occupied by Russia. They're not pro-Russian, and in fact, there are many different perceptions within the regions of what should be their future, how they view their proclaimed independence, which is not necessarily pro-Russian, even that. So I would certainly disagree with the qualification. And we, as I said, just starting with that Russia is present in the region and is present in a very aggressive manner in these occupied territories and on the administrative line that separates these occupied territories from Georgia. It's our territories, but we cannot have access to those, even to provide humanitarian aid, even to provide aid in a very dire COVID situation. So that's very preoccupying, of course. But what I want to emphasize is that this is, after all, a very past centuries way of dealing with the region. We have been used to that in the Caucasus. We have seen Russian Empire, we have seen Soviet activities, and it's the same inertia, trying to be present by the use of force. And it doesn't get you anywhere because the occupied territories are in the same situation. Georgia is progressing, Georgia is moving forward, and that has not, I would say, diverted Georgia from its past. If that was the aim, to try to keep Georgia from moving west, from going towards Euro-Atlantic integration, it has not succeeded. It has been very heavy, very painful, certainly, for the Georgian population and for the population that lives in the occupied territories, but it has not changed strategically the direction of Georgia. And I think that's where we can say that we have our victory in this very uneven situation, because, of course, in terms of force relationship, we are nowhere close to be able to react to Russian military pressures. But still, we have kept our independence, we have kept our political orientations, we have kept our path to democracy, and we have kept our path to Euro-Atlantic integration.
Est-ce que pour vous, Madame la Présidente, il y a un risque de retour à la guerre froide entre Joe Biden et Vladimir Poutine, d'autant plus que le président américain vient de déclarer dans une interview à la chaîne américaine ABC News que le président Poutine est un tueur?
You know, in this region, we have seen and heard many things, and declarations, political declarations at different times. There is a new administration, and political declarations do not necessarily mean that we are going to go back to the Cold War period. Since the Cold War, many things have changed in the world. The geopolitical balance is completely different. So if we go back to some tension, that I do not exclude, it certainly will not be the Cold War as you and me have known it in the past. It's a very different world. In this world, there is China that has become very powerful and is getting more and more powerful, I would say, after the COVID even. It has increased the economic force of China and its capacity to disrupt different balances. So I think that we are in a world that is subject to many different tensions, and I do not exclude more tension between Russia and the United States, as I do not exclude between United States and China, and one day probably between Russia and China. But all of that being said, I think that what is important is a policy in which, and that's what we expect from the new American administration, it's a policy, more firmness, especially when dealing with countries like Georgia that are moving towards NATO integration, European integration also, and that has to be supported also by the United States. The way to answer to Russia's provocations or aggression is not answering in the same mode as Russia, but it's strengthening the countries that are suffering the most in the immediate neighborhood of Russia. So we need to be reinforced. We need to have more military support. We need to have more political support, and we need to see our path towards integration be very clear, because that's what keeps the Georgian population motivated and united in that direction.
Ce n'est pas nouveau. Vous soutenez l'intégration de la Géorgie à l'OTAN. Alors, où en êtes-vous aujourd'hui?
Well, the process, that's what I was saying, that it was a process that was, I would say, blessed by Antony Blinken at his first audition hearing with the Congress. It's a process that was supported by the General Secretary of NATO, Mr. Stoltenberg, very recently. When I was there in January in NATO, I had also very much support from the North Atlantic Council during the meeting of the Council with the Georgian president. So we are moving forward. Our military is moving forward. We are done most of the things that are expected from an applicant country. The standardization of our military is very high and very appreciated. You know that we have our troops, and we have been having them for the past years in Afghanistan as one of the countries that has the highest contingent in the per capita.
Mais est-ce que franchement, vous pensez que Poutine va vous laisser faire?
I think, you know, I was somewhere else on another side for previous integrations, including the Big Bang. And when I was on the other side, when I was a European diplomat, a French diplomat, and these issues were discussed, I heard many of the same things, people saying, well, never would Russia allow, for instance, the Baltic states to integrate NATO, and that has happened. So I think we should never say never. That's one very big lesson that I personally have from my experience. The other lesson is that the more this road is steady, the more it's not a road of stop and goes, but more a steady one that goes in one direction, step by step, but without hesitation, the less reactions there are from Russia. The third thing is that this integration, in my view and in our view, is not something that is designed to confront Russia in any way. It's something that is designed to add security for Georgia, to add to its development, whether it's military or political or democratic. So it's a plus. It's not something that is designed against anyone. And if that's understood by everyone, I think that there is never.
Madame la Présidente, vous avez passé du temps à Bruxelles en janvier dernier. Et Charles Michel, le président de la Commission européenne, se trouvait récemment à Tbilissi, la capitale géorgienne. Où en êtes-vous dans vos relations avec l'Europe? Et puis question, allez-vous intégrer l'Union européenne?
It means only good things.
Yeah.
First of all, Charles Michel came to Tbilisi upon my invitation, because I was in Brussels to say exactly what I've been saying here, that the European Union had not been present enough in the past period in the Caucasus, in Georgia, had been too much absent from the conflict between two of our neighbors. All of three countries, we are partners, we are members of the Eastern Partnership with the European Union, and that entails a responsibility of the European Union to be more present, more engaged. The vision that this region is becoming, whatever this conflict, whatever the occupied territories, remains and becomes more and more really a very important region for infrastructures that will be very important for tomorrow's Europe, as well as for Central Asia. All of that means that it's a region important for the European Union. It is also a region in which Georgia is the country that has been moving the faster in terms of democratic development, in terms of stability, and in terms of economic development. And that also has to be supported as a success story. So there were people that were saying after the Karabakh conflict, right in the immediate aftermath, oh, Russia is back, Turkey is there, and that means all the others, the European Union or the United States, are no longer there. Well, my firm conviction, and all these recent events show that, is that that is not true. The European Union is, if we want to say back, but is there and not going anywhere, remains very engaged and has very many its own interests in the region, whether it's in Georgia, whether it's together with Azerbaijan, Armenia, Turkey, all of these countries and everything that will develop in the coming years in this region is of utmost interest for the European Union, and that is a signal of that.
Plusieurs observateurs disent que la Géorgie se trouve à un carrefour où elle choisit la voie de la démocratie, de l'état de droit, ou bien elle se tourne vers le passé et la Russie. Êtes-vous d'accord?
No, certainly not, because Georgia is not going back anywhere. I think we have gone through many crossroads, including a war with Russia not so long ago, with occupied territories, with very many difficulties, and that has been the fate of Georgia since we have just commemorated 100 years of the first occupation of Georgia by Russia after the first independence in 1921, when my family had to leave Georgia because of the first occupation. Then we had 70 long years of Soviet occupation, then the second independence, and we are going to celebrate in the coming months on the 26th of May the 30 years of the second independence and the Declaration of Independence on April 9th. So it has been a very complicated history, a very difficult one. And I think that if there is something that cannot be said, from 1918 to today, never has Georgia gone back on its first democratic constitution, which was a model in that period of Europe, including having women electing and women elected. And by the way, the first Muslim women ever elected in the parliament was elected in 1918 in Georgia. And never have we, including during the Soviet period where Georgia used to be the most relatively open and free society in the whole of the Soviet Union, it has never gone back. I've said that if at any time, any moment, I would see signs that Georgia is diverting from its road to full democracy, to European integration, and going what is called going back to something or to Russia, that day I would not be the president of Georgia any longer.
Quel jugement portez-vous sur l'implication politique de la Turquie dans le Caucase, en Méditerranée orientale, en Libye, en Syrie, et avec, on l'a dit maintes fois, un pied dans l'OTAN et un pied chez Vladimir Poutine?
The relationship between Turkey and Russia, we're watching that very closely. It is not clear what will be the long term, because the interests between Turkey and Russia are not exactly necessarily the same on the long term. But as I said before, the Caucasus cannot be a region for exclusion. It's too small. It has by itself very many different ethnicities, languages. It's a country and a region, as the Georgian Jews knew very well for 26 centuries. It's a region of tolerance. So everybody has the possibility to be in the region, to deal with the region, to come in the region. What is important is that we keep for this region the stability and that everybody lets all the others play their role in the region. And again, I think that for us, seen from Georgia, one of the best guarantees of this stability will be a more direct involvement of the European Union and also of the United States.
On va changer de terrain. Comment qualifiez-vous vos relations avec Israël?
Excellent. I think that we have these historic ties that date back so long that we can say very directly that we never had any problems between the Georgian Jewish community and the Georgian Christian or the Georgian Muslim community. It's one of these very rare countries where we have given over the centuries this example of tolerance. And on that, we have built over years an excellent relationship with Israel, which is developing ever more. We have just concluded an agreement with Israel to renew the flights and to allow the tourists to come to Georgia because they're very eager to come to Georgia. And we love to see many Israeli tourists in Georgia. And I think that these ties can only develop. We are not so far away. It's just a 3-hour trip, so it's quite close, even if we look sometimes in different directions. So we are confident that our relations with Israel are, for the next 26 centuries, going to be as close and as warm as they were.
Est-ce que pour vous, Madame la Présidente, la récente normalisation des rapports entre Israël et les pays du Golfe est une porte ouverte vers la paix, ou bien est-ce qu'il risque d'y avoir une reconstitution de bloc avec d'un côté Israël, les États-Unis, l'Arabie saoudite, et puis de l'autre côté la Russie, l'Iran, la Chine, la Corée du Nord?
I did, in fact, react to these agreements immediately, and I welcome those agreements because anything that improves relations, anything that improves stability, I think is a step forward for a regional stability and wider. So I don't think that this leads us ineluctably to some confrontation, increased confrontation and increased aggression. To the contrary, that's my firm belief and I want to welcome these agreements again here.
Madame la Présidente, quand vous passez au peigne fin les événements en cours dans le monde, est-ce que vous n'avez pas le sentiment d'avoir en face de vous tous les ingrédients d'un troisième conflit mondial?
I will not make that type of predictions. In general, I'm not into predictions. What I can say is that we have tensions. That's very clear, and I said that these tensions and other tensions are going to happen. But we also have, and that's the other side of the coin, we have incredible common challenges that nobody is going to be able to deal with alone. We have seen with the COVID how a common challenge can suddenly erupt without any prior prediction. We have the common challenge of climate change, which is we have not measured yet how much that challenge can really change our lives and the relations between different countries. So I think that we can focus on one side tensions that are growing and the possibilities of conflicts and confrontation, and they are certainly there. The history is not finished and it will continue. And at the same time, probably the world as a whole today has more reasons to come together and try to face together certain common challenges than it had ever in the past century. So it's up to each of us to decide where we look at and at what we're looking forward.
Eh bien, nous voilà arrivés au terme de notre émission. Salomé Zorabichvili, Madame la Présidente, merci d'avoir répondu à nos questions et d'avoir pris le temps, surtout, d'y répondre, alors que je sais que vous êtes très, très occupée vu l'évolution de la situation dans la région et dans le Caucase. On se retrouve très prochainement avec nos amis téléspectateurs de i24 News pour d'autres Mallards en liberté et à très vite avec d'autres invités prestigieux. Bonsoir.